Hello learners, now coming to block 3 of CFN1. So it deals with chapters from units from unit 11 till unit 16. So coming to the first unit, it is about selection, preparation and nutritive value of cereals and millets. See, this unit basically you all know about it. We don't need to explain much about it, but I'll go in a short way. So how do we select the cereals? Of course it should be clean, it should be grain should be clean and free from dirt. They should not be infested from molds, insects or fungus. Grain or flour should be preferably bought from cooperative stores, Grahak Sanghs or any other cooperative organization to ensure good quality materials. Whole wheat is usually ground for use by the families themselves. This helps to prevent the purchase of adulterated flours from the market. Maida should be free from insects, lumps and molds. Puff rice and chira should be crisp and not have gravel, grit and sand. Good quality dalia is free from molds and bad odor. Select according to your needs. Thin, long variety of rices are used for making pulao while sorting. Varieties are suitable for khichdi, idli, dosa, etc. Finer varieties of suji are suitable for halwas, while larger particles are better for upmas. Bread should be fresh and wrapped in a hygienic package. Good quality bread is soft and has a baked flavor. So, nutritive value of cereals, as you have already read before, cereals have high energy value. This is due to 65 to 78% of starch. Okay, cereals contain 7 to 12% of protein. Cereals normally contains vitamin B complex in it and also iron, calcium, and some cereals have calcium. It also contains fibers. Whole cereals are rich in fibers because they are of their outer covering. Okay. Common cereal grains are wheat, rice, which we normally have, as I was telling, jowar, bajra, maize, ragi, kodri, these type of things. Okay. And sprouting, parching and fermentation are main techniques used, and also boiling and steaming for cooking cereals. Okay. Now coming to unit 12, which is selection of fats and oils and their nutritive value. Okay. First is selection of fats and oils. Oils and fats should have a natural flavor and color. They should be clean and free from solid particles, dirt, dust and bad odor. But the fat or oil of a reputed company. Buy fat or oil of a reputed company. Do not buy oils and fats loose, as they are likely to be adulterated. Buy in sealed tins or polyjars. Butter should be wrapped in a hygienic package. It should be firm and have a fresh flavor. Ghee should have its natural dedicated flavor. We all know about it. Commonly used fats are butter, ghee, oils, vegetables oil, normally vegetable oils, vanaspati, then olive oil. One more thing, olive oil should never be used upon heat because it can be sprinkled raw on any boiled food or anything, but it shouldn't be used or cooked, while like fried in olive oil is very unhealthy and poisonous, so don't go by that. Just a piece of advice from my side. Okay, choice of cooking medium. When you are see, there are saturated fatty acids, there are monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acid. Saturated fatty acids are coconut oil, palm oil, kernel, ghee, butter, vanaspati. Monounsaturated are red palm oil, palmolene oil, groundnut oil, rice bran and sesame. Polyunsaturated consist of linoleic, which is omega 6, and linoleic, which is omega 3. Now linoleic is red palm oil, palmolene, and medium groundnut, rice bran, sesame, safflower, sunflower, cottonseed, corn, soya bean, and omega 3 is mustard and soya bean. Okay. So these are the classification. Now role of fats and oils in food preparation. If we spread, see, I am not explaining this to you. You very well know how to use fats and oils in a preparation, and it changes while we put on heat. And one more thing, to prevent rancidity, we should not reuse oil, burnt oil more and more. Rancidity is normally a process where oxidation of oil happens, which basically, if you use rancid oil for cooking, so that is unhealthy and not appropriate. It happens due to oxidation. That is, if we fry something in some oil, then we should discard that remaining oil and not fry anything else on that oil. That is not healthy. Okay. This is the end of unit 12. Now coming to unit 13, which is selection and preparation of sugar and jaggery and their nutritive value. Okay. So how to now there are some kinds of sugar, mainly granulated sugar, which we normally use, which is very common. Icing sugar, which we normally use to decorate cakes. Sugar cubes, which is sometimes used in hotels and restaurants, because that is very sophisticated one. And jaggery. Okay. Jaggery is good. Okay, jaggery consists of fiber more than sugar. And the nutritive value is basically it is an energy giving thing, and it contains lots and lots of carbs in it. So this is what we know about sugar. Sugar preparation, sugar is hygroscopic, which means sugar has a tendency to absorb water and get wet. So like if we boil water and sugar together, then it reduces and it absorbs it. So one thing is that. Next, it is highly soluble in water. Thirdly, supersaturated solution on cooling form crystals, like it becomes granules. Sugar hydrolysis is in the presence of acid. This is also a function in acid. There is hydrolysis, which means it breaks down sugar, H2 and O. What are the uses of sugar? Sugar is used in many things, so I am not repeating that. Caution against excessive use of sugar. First of all, it causes like too much of sugar is not healthy while eating, because it contains too much of empty calorie mainly. And secondly, it causes tooth decay also. So excess of sugar should not be used. And there are certain artificial sweeteners also, like saccharin and all, but I would suggest don't use that, but because those are not at all a healthy option or a substitute of sugar. If you have like for any clinical reasons sugar is totally restricted, then avoid it totally. Don't use artificial sweeteners or sugars in place of that. This is all about chapter number 13. Now coming to unit 14, that is selection, preparation and nutritive value of pulses, nuts and oil seeds. So pulses is dal, what we eat, and nuts and oil seeds, we know everything. Nutritive value of pulses, it contains protein, it contains fiber also. So if you are readily giving protein to a person, you can provide pulses, but of course fiber amount is very less, so digestibility factors sometimes come into mind. So we should look into the matter. Okay, selection, pulses, again cereal selection and pulses selection is of similar kind, so I won't repeat. We can eat in a liquid form, or we can eat in a semi-solid form. That depends on the like preparation. Like soybean is also pulses, so that can be used in curry, and maybe any kind of dal which is in liquid form is also a pulses. Nutritive value of nuts and oilseeds, these are also good sources of protein and also calories. And nuts, we know the uses of nuts. It also sometimes contains many types of antioxidants and vitamins, so that we can incorporate in our meal to get ample amount of these things. Now coming to unit 15, which is selection, preparation and nutritive value of milk and milk products. See, milk is something which we called as a wholesome meal, because milk is something which consists of all type of nutrients into it. So if a person is drinking milk, that means that person is getting enough amount of nutrient and all types of nutrient. There are certain digestibility issues, but if we ferment it to curd, so curd doesn't have any digestion issue, so we can use curd if we have any, or else milk is something which provides calorie, which provides fat, which provides protein, which provides all types of vitamins and minerals. Okay, Types of food from milk, we all know curd is there, paneer, cheese, cream, khoya, butter, ghee, all are types of milk products, so need not explain. And uses, milk can be used in many a way, so this need not be explained. Now coming to unit 16, which deals with selection, preparation and nutritive value of eggs and flesh foods. Okay, so selection of egg, of course a fresh egg will sink in the water while a stale egg will float. This is one thing which we should do before buying it, because if the egg is stale enough, then it will sink, it will float, and if it is fresh, then it will sink in. And a stale egg also smells very bad. And apart from that, if the egg is broken, then we shouldn't be having that, because it has already got some microorganism contamination which can't be detected in unaware. So it is safer to not buy broken eggs. If it is broken in front of your eyes, you can use that. Okay. Nutritive, again, egg is also filled with maximum, and it in case of bioavailability, egg has a bioavailable value of 1, so it is a wholesome protein and calorie compound which is very much required for our body, and during the growth period egg is also required. Okay, one more thing, as egg is a protein, a solid part of protein, so denaturation and poaching is a very common thing while preparing egg. When we boil egg, it solidifies, then when we poach it, it becomes a semi-solid thing. So these all are types of protein denaturation. And apart from that, also the egg protein coagulates, and that's why it becomes stiffer and denser. Okay, we can have boiled eggs, fried eggs, poached egg, omelette, souffles, custards, all are basically egg preparation. Marine, then mayonnaise, all these type of things. Now coming to flesh foods. Flesh foods meaning meat is a flesh thing. Sometimes fish also. Fish is also comes under. These are all sources of protein. There are many types of meat which we normally eat depending on our taste and likings. So all are basically high sources of protein. I'm not going much into this chapter, and by this we finish block 3 of CFN 1. Thank you.